Hey guys, welcome back to another commentary from BJJ National Champion. So we've just had the clash between ADCC and CJI, and I wanted to cover this match where Meregali is versing Michael Pixley. And truthfully, Michael Pixley kind of looks like a soccer dad that just decided to train one day, which makes it hilarious considering, Meregali lost. Normally I don't... Normally I go into these matches blind, but obviously I was keeping up with what was going on. So we're going to be here. The match starts, obviously. I believe Michael Pixley is quite a good wrestler. At least that's what my purple belt told me. It's like 20 years training sort of thing as a wrestler. And then you can see that... the fluidity of his movements is already really, really good. He's like well above Meregali, and you can see how like he pummels the hand across the top and then controls the posture as he goes. And truthfully, guys, don't expect me to be able to keep up with the nuance that Michael's putting into this match. If Meregali can't keep up with the nuance, then I won't be able to. Is the bottom line. He goes for this foot sweep, trying to kick Merengali's leg out the way, misses it. Just carries on through, and that was a very fun movement because it looked very smooth. He's completely relaxed, does not give a fuck. It's already exciting. So Meregali comes straight back in like he's got a point to prove, because, I don't know, it feels like he does. Pixley gets the second, the drive-by. Meregali quickly goes for the snap down, the leg. But I love this turn of the hips that we see Michael going for. Is that makes the leg, grabbing the single leg, very difficult. And you can see how he's still facing more or less forwards, even though his hips are coming back the opposite direction. And so he's just shutting down all attempts straight away. It's very, very nice posturing and control. And I believe that Michael's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu, which goes to show that, your stand-up's actually probably the most important part of being good at grappling, to be honest with you. And we see that with Josh Saunders as well. He's a black belt now, but his ground game is not as good as his stand-up, basically. Oh my fucking goodness. Straight away. So Meregali goes for this underhook. Straight away, the wizard comes in, and there's no hesitation. Michael steps across and goes for a major outer reap and gets the throw. Look at this fucking air time. Look at this air time. Daddy, I want to get off the roller coaster now, please.
Pixley Airlines.
Oh yeah, I've got my student with me, so he's sitting in on this as well. I'm just going to watch that again. So we see that Meregali is trying to wrestle and gets his head on the inside. But like Pixley seems to be baiting this because he knows that he's slightly turned on. You can see like turned on the angle, sorry. You can see Merengali's orientation is forwards. You can see Michael's is not. So Meregali is going directly forwards that way. Michael is angled off to the side. And you can see that as soon as Meregali goes for this underhook, that actually sets him up perfectly for Uchis and major outer reach. I can't remember what they're called. It's not Osotogari, is it? No.
I don't know.
Ouchigari, I think. Yeah, Ouchigaris, I believe. And so like this major outer reap is really quite nice, and we see that this nights look a little bit slippy, but Merengali's coming forwards, and so Michael like pulls him in and then up, and you can see he's already whipping into this. So I'm just going to watch that a couple more times because it's such a beautiful technique. Michael is very clearly beyond world class at wrestling.
He's so good.
Is very clearly beyond world class at wrestling, So, when was the last time you reckon Meregali got thrown that easy? Not very often. So Meregali looks a little bit pissed, and he's going back into this, so he's just straight away into it, and like, I'm kind of put in mind of that meme of SpongeBob is like, how many times we have to teach you this lesson, old man? And we see Michael go for a snap down on the head, and he almost gets the guillotine straight away. And so Meregali is very much on the back foot in this match the whole time. He's getting absolutely dominated. And so, you know, I don't know. He doesn't seem very authentic as a black belt at the moment, does he? Considering Michael's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. What a beautiful snap down. Beautiful snap down. So this whole time, you see Merengali's posture is kind of a bit shot. And Michael was slightly above with the head. Now he's slightly below. He's meeting that forehead and all the rest of it. But Meregali goes for like a lazy double leg tack, which is not going to work. You know, it might work on people my level and below, but it's definitely not going to work on someone that's just thrown you at will like 2 times already, headlocked you already, done 2 drive-bys, a free throw, and then threatened all sorts of guillotines already. You don't really want to be putting your head down low, do you? So he gets guillotine threatened. Pixley's got this really nice wrap in, and then he's starting to sprawl and drag down. So this is everywhere that, you know, wrestlers want to be, is that front headlock position. And he's got the Darce choke already set in, and this is Michael's A game. I'm pretty sure, you know, it would be. So Meregali manages to escape. Michael stands back up because he doesn't give a fuck. He wants to be on top. He wants to be standing. And we just go from there. So we play this guard. Michael's doing this good job of disengaging when he doesn't need to. And really nice leg movements. Meregali could be doing a better job with his sticky hooks, to be honest with you. And Michael's looking for this engagement that's favourable to him, not to Meregali. And so he goes for a quick leg jump. Doesn't really work, and you can see like these leg movements side to side are really, really nice. Is that if we back this up a second, there was a brief opening in between the guard, and so you can see how like he steps off the hook, and then he looks to go around the side. Meregali spins to face him, and so he just puts the foot back. It's really, really nice play. And Michael's always centering on and maintaining that distance. You can see how he's always backing away. It's quite a nice lesson to learn here, is that it's very hard to play guard if the person is always on the peripheral of the guard rather than here, where the legs can actually reach properly and still have bend in them, and the hooks can get into play and all the rest of it. So it's very hard to play on the peripherals of a guard if you're playing guard. And it's actually very hard to maintain the peripheral, because any single one of these movements you see Meregali do where he comes forwards, like so, all of a sudden puts you in guard range. And so it's hard to maintain that distance and not get stuck by sticky hooks and hands and all the rest of it. And you can see that the foot comes into play, pinning the guard and neutralizing it here, which is quite nice. But the point I was trying to get at is that Michael's doing a really good job of playing top guard without rushing it, like playing passing, without rushing. And you can see now finally that he starts to get down low onto the level, which is what you need to do if you're going to be passing like an open butterfly, is you need to get lower. But then he thinks better of it and starts going for stand up and like focusing on his weaves. But you see how all of a sudden, because Michael stopped backing away, he gets hooked straight away and started to be lifted. And so even for the briefest second, if you stop backing away or you're not on proper head level, you will just get grabbed. So the hook comes in, the hands go in, Michael's forced to back away because he doesn't want his hands in. So Meregali grabs onto the leg. Michael tries to pummel back in. and then the both feet are working independently to get one hook or the other, just so he can grab on. And then as soon as this happens, you see how the sweep gets threatened already, because the foot pushes up and over the top, the hand pulls down and in, and then all of a sudden we're into a grappling match here. Michael's obviously got an amazing base, and truthfully, to be honest with you, I would like to see Michael Pixley versus Nicky Rod in terms of wrestling. That'd be cool. That'd be a nice match to see. And so like it looked like he was going to get swept, but he's so good at wrestling. He's so good at basing and balancing. Takes the foot out the way, and then just gets back up. You're not going to wrestle up Meregali. It's not going to happen. And so like Meregali goes for that foot through the middle, and there's a lot to be said here about how good of a job Michael's doing. You can see how Nicholas puts his leg all the way through to the opposite hip. Straight away, the left hand comes in to deal with it. Watch. Straight away, left hand comes in to deal with it. He steps solid base. He's pulling the head down so that as Meregali starts to wrestle up, he feeds directly into a guillotine, as you can see. And then, like, my suggestion as a game plan would be to Meregali is don't fucking wrestle the 20-year veteran of wrestling. You're not going to be able to win that, and it's just a matter of being real with how hard it is to actually get good at things, and people at the tippity top professional level like Michael, you're not going to catch up to 20 years dedicated training and NCAA champion with 5 years with John Danaher, or 2 years with John Danaher and some Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu takedowns, because they're not in the same league. And so developing your understanding and awareness of the aspects of grappling, if you were going to do it to his level, you'd need to live for fucking 300 years, and you'd need to spend 50 years on each aspect or 20 years on each aspect before you became proficient enough that you could realistically beat someone like this. And so you just have to accept that no matter how good you are, you're not going to be better than everyone at everything, because there's specialties within grappling. And I'm not talking about gi or no gi, talking about stand-up versus guard versus passing versus, sweeps versus all the rest of it. And it can get more specific into specific guards, but you're just not going to be as good as a 20-year veteran of wrestling if you're not a 20-year veteran of wrestling and you're not a double NCAA champion. And so don't try and play a 20 years veteran of wrestling's game, because you'll lose. And it seems silly, especially if, you've stuck to authenticity has a price, ADCC promotion. If you're stuck to it, you got to strategize about a way you're going to win, because you want the prestige of winning. And so we get into this match. It's finally, like Michael's doing a really good job of distancing. This distance of the hips is nightmarish to deal with. And Meregali is doing everything he possibly can. You see how he finally gets the whizzer in, doing everything he possibly can to close the distance. But even this, I'm sure, would feel awkward and kind of terrible for Meregali because of how good of a wrestler Michael is. Like, because every sweep is a throw done from the floor, basically. And so it's really hard to verse someone that's really good at wrestling, because in order to get on top, you either need to take them down or sweep them, and a takedown or a sweep is the same thing, just depending on if you're up here or down here. So Michael backs out of it, gets control over the hips, and is starting to change the angle back around the side. So he opens up the space, and it's very, very difficult. Very difficult for Meregali to play. Nice back step. So Michael manages to back step out of it and stand back up. Oh, the leg weaves, and like Michael would be so good at at defending single legs with like the knee coming up and the foot weaving out one way or the other. And so, you know, he hops and he jumps just straight out of any entanglements, which is really nice to see. You can see that leg flick as well. The leg flick off of the hand, and then the distance, and then the coming back in. Because I don't actually know much about wrestling in terms of its rule set, but I know takedowns myself, and distance management and takedowns is really really important, you know. So Michael's obviously a master at this. And we get to this front headlock type position again, which is a wrestler's wet dream, you know. So Merengali's here in this position, plays the butterfly. He's definitely playing his strategy. But Michael's making it very difficult, and he knows he's winning right now as well. Like the throws and the snap downs and the headlock, the headlock attempts and all the rest of it put him very clearly in the judge's favor if he was to decide this match. And we get this really nice detail in here. We'll just back it up a second, where you see how. What have I done? Sorry, guys.
ADCC.
You see how, look at the distance management here. I'll just make sure that mutes off. Okay. The hips are over here, and he shuffles in super quickly. Watch. Thunk. And he gets in super quick. Now all of a sudden, he's gone from out here to crowding the space and making it very difficult with pressure. And this position makes it quite hard for Meregali. Meregali has to push him away. So Michael goes, all right, I'll just go away from you because I can always just wrestle back up to my feet. Does a beautiful leg weave out of it. And you can see how, exactly as I said, he leg weaves out of it, backs away, stands back up, and just has another go. Because anytime Meregali wants to, he can stand up, and Michael will be like, yeah, I'll throw you again, doesn't matter. And so we get into this this position here. I'm pretty sure that Michael's being told that he needs to stop stalling, so he needs to continue with the match. But to be honest with you, if you're going to play out a grappling match, let it play out. This is good strategy, what Michael's doing, because he wants to engage only when it's favorable to him, and not be forced into an engagement that's not favorable just because the judge says so, or because casual fucking white belts don't understand good jiu-jitsu. And so again, just disengaging really nicely. It's a nightmare to play against. It's very frustrating, and it's actually more likely to make Meregali make a mistake. So we get back into the middle of the match, the mats, straight away into it. Meregali needs a plan of attack. Probably the best bet would be, probably the best bet would be not that. He goes for like a tackle, but look at all of this space that's opened up now, and Michael sees it, and then just straight away does like a blast knee cut, into side control. And again, it's beautiful strategy. This entire time he's been backing away, maintaining the distance on the outside of the guard, and then all of a sudden he smashes directly through the guard, taking Meregali off guard, by surprise, and then forcing a scramble. And so now Meregali has to be worried about three things, right? He has to be worried about stand-up. He has to be worried about trying to engage with some slippery cunt that just doesn't, it's like a fucking eel. And then he has to be worried about when he does engage, whether or not that slippery cunt will just smash through his guard and take him by surprise. And so now this is like a nightmarish person to try and roll against. And I quite like the body language I'm seeing from Michael, because it looks like he does not give a fuck who Meregali is, or who Meregali says Meregali is. And we get into this position where Meregali is almost opening his elbow, inviting the inside space, just to have a chance at engaging. And Michael's controlling that top shoulder. Very difficult position to play. Nice. Meregali gets the guard back. Love to be seeing this hook a bit more sticky. Not sure why the break was. Let's see. So Meregali starts going for the far side elbow, and then Michael wrenches out of it and just stands back up again. And this entire match is served to make Meregali kind of look like a bitch when it comes to grappling, to be honest with you. It's like, dude, just stand up. You know, he's criticizing everyone that pulls guard and butt scoots back in the day, and now he's pulling guard and butt scooting. It's kind of serving to make him look like a little bitch when it comes to grappling, isn't it? Which is quite funny to me, considering all the trash talk he does. And so we see how he's like trying to get in underneath, and then he's like reaching far through. If this elbow pops past the shoulder line into underneath the armpit, he's going to Darce choke himself. So, Michael's like, I don't give a fuck. I'll just pull your head in. No worries. I'm going to fold your spine in half, cunt. Fuck you. And then Meregali has to pop out of it. He's trying to get through to this far side, but he opens up all of the space on the inside, and then Michael wraps on and then head in behind the shoulder. And it's a very difficult position now for Meregali to play. So using a lot of effort, a lot of power. Almost gets that overwrap, gives up on it for some reason, probably because the hand is like bent, so elbow and shoulder like that. Yeah, there you go. The elbow and shoulder were like this, and so it's very hard to get over the top when the hand's not around the back. So he should be going for like a deep whizzer now, and just following this up the whole time, trying to control the wrist. But Michael's doing such a good job of controlling the top points, which is the shoulders, and keeping Meregali away. Again, distance management works both ways, is that either you can keep you away, or you can keep your opponent away. Both are valid. And Michael's doing this really good job of just sitting on the peripheral of that guard. It's not a worry, because even if he does get swept, he'll just scramble back up to his feet. And what's Meregali going to do? Fucking get thrown again. So we see this, perfect example where we see Meregali finally gets the single leg. Michael steps up, and you're going to see him Uchi in a second, probably. Crunch. And I believe, actually, I was sent this clip here earlier today, and in the clip, it was on Instagram, you can hear the shoulder go like that, and it's like two cue balls smacking together. It's fucking disgusting. So Meregali wrestles up, does a really good job wrestling up, thinks he's going really, really well. Michael's defending this very, very nicely, and you can see how he's like pushing forwards as he's ab crunching backwards. And he's just got such a good sense of balance because of all his years of wrestling. Takes control of the outside, gets a whizzer in, throws straight away. And Michael smashes down on top, forcing the top shoulder out, and then this bottom shoulder in. And that's what does the work, damaging the bottom shoulder. Meregali is in a lot of trouble right now, and you can see right here, he's tapping. Right here, before the Darce has ever sunk in, he's tapping. So to be fair to him, he's tapping, and he's tapping, and he's tapping, and he's tapping some more on his bad shoulder. And everyone that's saying, haha, you got Darce choked, well, you're fucking wrong. Actually, look at the match, cunts. I shouldn't call you cunts, but also, be fair to people. Be fair to people. The Darce choke's not in. That shoulder's really hurting. He's tapping right now. He's tapping again. He's tapping again. No one sees it, and he's tapping. And that Darce choke looked kind of really loose, to be honest with you. There's still a lot of room to move that shoulder if Meregali needed. And because he's so far, Michael's so far over the top, if Meregali's shoulder didn't go, he'd be doing a massive forward hip escape up and over and wrenching this elbow down and through. And he would escape this. But his bottom shoulder, like, look at how fucking off this angle is. That's his shoulder out here. This is his arm in there. It looks like he's fucking spiral fractured his humerus, you know. It looks really bad. It doesn't look like an arm's supposed to bend that way. Like, fucking hell. And so his shoulder's out, and you know, like that throw was absolutely gorgeous. And to be honest with you, perfectly valid. You know, whether or not he would have got the finish, whether or not he would have got the finish from the DAS or not, actually remains to be seen. And to be fair to everyone that's skeptical, if your shoulder is dislocated, how are you managing to tap like this with it? I'm much more of the opinion that he probably broke his arm, because look at that angle. Look at that angle. And that looked like that hurt, and you could see him tapping before. So, you know, in the post-fight interview as well, he looks like he's hurting. So anyway, guys, turns out authenticity does have a price, and the price is the right shoulder. This is probably a good lesson to be way more humble about your jiu-jitsu, because losses do happen, but they're way easier to cope with when no one's laughing at you.
Don't say you win double gold before you've even competed.
Yeah. Just say your intentions of, like, I would really like to win double gold, but don't go disrespecting your opponents. I really believe that we need to bring back respect of your opponents and enjoyment of the competition and enjoyment of jiu-jitsu itself to the forefront again of grappling and the martial art itself, because otherwise you just kind of look like a dick, and then everyone has a massive case of schadenfreude when you lose. They just enjoy your losing. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. I'll see you for the next one. There's heaps of content now for me to cover, and I'll see you shortly. Cheers.